What's happening? Welcome back. It's been a while, and this is the last episode of the Shoveit Podcast. That's us, officially on air. Look, welcome back. It has been ages since I recorded an episode of this podcast, and like I've said a billion times before, it was supposed to be simple, it was supposed to be easy, and it's turned into a shit show. So, first things first. This is it's so echoey in here now that everything's out. This is the last episode of the pod that I'm going to be doing here in this location. Now, I don't think I've uploaded an episode since October last year. For a multitude of different reasons. For two main reasons. One, it became a pain in the ass to come down here and do it. And two, I lost track of the topics and things and the reason I started the thing in the first place. Now, fast forward to today, the studio is completely empty. The office is gone. The gear room is gone. The shooting area is gone. All the equipment is fucking packed. It's scattered across my house, my mom's garage. Like, it's everywhere. Why? Well, I got to this point where I feel like my journey of where I initially started with my freelance stuff, I feel like I'm not on that path anymore. I feel like I'm on a slightly different version of that thing that I always thought about. So when I was younger, I was like, I'm going to be a designer. It was always going to be a graphic designer. And the plan was always to have a graphic design studio. And I guess that looked like a building with loads of desks and employees or something. And anyway, along that road, I guess, is I did the design job and I managed a big team of people that I've worked in like advertising, and I did a bunch of those things before eventually going out on my own, where I now do like a mixture of all sorts of creative work. And I've had a few different studios over the last 7 years. A couple of different ones in Belfast, had one in Donegal, and I had this one here. I've been in this one the longest. Man, I didn't realize I'd been in here that much for that long. And I found what was happening was I was coming to the studio less and less. I was on shoots, on location, packing up, packing down in different places. I sort of drifted a little bit away from some of the studio work that I had been doing. Like, I used to shoot a lot of bike stuff and like people and portrait things and bigger products. And I find that when I do studio stuff now, it's actually kind of smaller things. And when there's bigger things, I can do them on location. And I found myself on a few shoots recently taking a portable white backdrop setup to locations and doing it there. And I'm starting to just look at the space, being like, is this worth it? Like, it's got to the point where it's become very expensive. I'm paying like £395 a month rent on this place, plus they add electric on top of that. And then what's worse is LPS, the rates company in Northern Ireland, just jacked the fucking rates up. Like, when I started here, my rates were like £45 a month. And the next year they went to 80. Then the next year they went, I think it was like 45 for maybe 2 years. Then they jacked up to 80. Then it was like 105. And then they were like, oh, it's 130 quid a month. And I was like, you need to come and reevaluate this. It's ridiculous. They reevaluated, told me I actually should have been paying more the whole time. And they backdated me for 2 years. So for this year, I've been paying that rent plus £300 a month extra on rates. And it doesn't look like it's really going to dip at all. So I just thought, like, you know what, fuck this. What a waste of, like, if I was using it all the time and I was doing one big studio shoot every month that was covering the costs of it, I'd be like, fine. And I was at the start. And I mean, I'm not doing less work. I'm just not doing this kind of work. I've shifted a lot of the kind of work that I've been doing to bigger stuff outside of the studio. Stuff that I enjoy doing a lot more. And been doing a lot more consultation work, which is always good fun. But I'm sitting here paying this money for this place. It's not far from where I live. So it's easy enough to get to, but it's also, for that reason, I feel like I'm even lazier coming here. I feel like when I worked in Belfast, I made an effort to go there to be in the studio all day, and I would have set studio days where now I'm like, oh, I could just pop in whenever I need. So I would pop in to do a photo shoot and I'd fuck off again. And if I was in here, I felt like I was forcing myself to be here. And when I was sitting working, I was sitting in the studio, in the office part, in the corner in this little room with especially in winter, it's so depressing, heater blowing, and I'm sitting in this huge room by myself. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? This is mental. I guess there was a part of me that always felt like the people that I created with would like jump on board and be like, oh, we want to come in and be a part of it and, you know, like come to the space. And apart from a handful of things where I've had people over to do stuff, no one really, that like enthusiasm, I guess, wasn't really shared, and people sort of drifted and did their own things. Some people put down cameras altogether and stopped shooting. And I was like, okay, so this has drifted a lot from what I started. And like when I first took up my studio in Belfast, I actually took a space out for me and my sister, and we were going to start this thing together, which we've dabbled with over the years. We've done a few projects, but then she started working full time, and then she's on her own, you know, trajectory, working in advertising and raising chickens in her free time. So, you know, juxtaposition. But I'm just like, I've always kind of been a bit of a lone ranger with my stuff. I love collaboration and love working with people, but I just find like the nature of the work I do and the way that I work and the speed that I work and the efficiency lends itself to just being Dill, guy by himself, you know, and I'll patch into teams when needs be. So I think I got to this point where I'm like, that dream of like having that business and most importantly, and here's the key, having things, stuff is no longer important. I mean, I've never been a materialistic person, but the thought was, you know, the success, I guess what the metric of success was always that you had a space with people, you know, employees and things, and you own stuff. And now I'm just like, who fucking cares about all those things? I like working with people and making cool shit. That's really it. And I can do that in whatever way possible. And I have learned that so much over the last week and a half unpacking the studio. I looked at it all and I thought, this will fit into like 10 boxes. Now we can just store it and I'll chuck a few bits and pieces away. And I have been like, for days, I have been digging through stuff in the studio, trying to sort it out, trying to pack it up, trying to organize it all. And the amount of stuff that I have collected over the last 7 years is insane. It's like, I'm looking at it going like, I don't need this shit. Why do I have this stuff? Why have I had 18 light stands. Who the fuck needs 18 light stands? Like, and I'm like, oh, I should keep them in case I lose, 17 of them? In case I accidentally misplace 17 light stands. I was like, fuck these things out. They were shit. Loads of them weren't even good. They were like, so I just went through them. I was like, these are the good ones and these are the dog shit ones that are just a pain in the ass. Heads from old tripods and fucking brackets for this and brackets for that and lenses for old cameras that don't fucking work anymore. I was just looking at it going like, Bill, what in the fuck are you actually doing, brother? Like, why are you collecting all this stuff? And what's mad is if you know me, you'll know I don't really like gear. Like, I like having gear to shoot stuff with, but it's some people fixate and focus on gear, love new stuff, and that's cool. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like a new camera, because I do, but all these things are just stuff that I use to make things. And I'm not trying to sound all like wise and, oh, look at me, I don't need stuff. But it is honestly true. If you looked at any of my gear, it's fucking battered because I use it for what I want to do. And if that means I need to duct tape my A7S III camera to the side of a car to get a shot, I'll fucking do it. Like, I have got no emotional connection to my gear, but I have some sort of internal hoarder in me that collects everything. And I'm like I can go to a shoot with one backpack and I'll carry a softbox and a light stand. I'll be like, that's me. Tripod strapped on a bag. But come to the studio, I need 300 million pieces of fucking equipment to do things with. And I'm like, this is insane. Now, look, it's been nice in the studio because I've had a permanent photo set up. And it meant I could literally just walk in, clip a flash, the transmitter on the top of the camera and just fire studio photographs. And that's been fucking awesome when I get studio shots. But I'm like, for all of this, for that tiny little luxury, fuck it. I don't want that anymore. And I've been saying for years, like, I'd love to just shoot everything on a phone. But I still find iPhones to be the best camera outside of these. Like, as far as like action cameras and other bits and pieces go, I love them. But they are still, it's an iPhone. But I've got a couple of video cameras and a photo camera, and I'm happy with my camera setup. And I'm kind of looking at all my stuff going, what is all this fucking shit? Because I'm looking at it right now. I've got a backpack, and I've got a bag with like a couple of light stands, a couple of soft boxes, some flashes, and a tripod in there. And I'm like, that's the stuff that I take with me to 95% of the work that I go to. And it's probably 5% of the equipment that I have in the studio. So what the fuck is all the other stuff? Like, why do I have it? And it has been such a learning curve. And I mean, if I can give any advice to anyone starting out on their freelance creative journey, whether it's hobby side or whether you're trying to do it as a job or whatever, it's just, when you break something, get rid of it. And when you're finished using something, sell it. Just do it. My friend Ryan, like, he would love to say he's not a gearhead, but he's an absolute nerd for gear. He loves it. And he always has to buy the new, like, if there's a camera out, he has to buy it and he has to have it first. And he'll buy something and he'll shoot with it for 4 months and then go, nah, and then he'll sell it. And I always laugh at him, but he's doing the right thing. Like, when you buy the shit, if you don't use it, sell it. Move it on to the next thing. And I used to work with this guy, Lee, in the bike industry, and this isn't camera gear related, but he would like buy a kayak, be all about kayak for a year. Every time you spoke to him, he's like, kayaking here, kayaking there. And in the end of the year, he would sell the kayak and he would buy a fishing rod. I mean, you probably could have done the two together. That was a terrible example, but he'd buy fishing rods and he'd be all about fishing. And I was like, why don't you just keep that stuff? And he's like, I don't want it. I use it and I sell it while it's in good condition. I buy something else. I'm not like that. Like, if you come into my garage, it's like fucking secondhand decathlon. There's every activity and sport you could ever want. And I don't know what that's about. There's a part of me that's like, if someone's like, Bill, do you want to play badminton? I'm like, I have the stuff. Do you want a kayak to the court? I have a kayak. Anything else we need to do while we're on it? We might need to do a solo stove camping expedition afterwards. I have all the gear. Let's fucking do it. That's the way I've always been. I love having the shit there because I like doing so many things. And I have such a short attention span. And I mean, I don't like to get into the ADHD thing, but it's heavy amounts of that. It's just like, I like to just dabble in everything. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. And that's cool. As far as hobbies and sports and stuff go, that's fine. But then, like, I wish I had it in me to just get rid of the stuff. Like, I play cricket and I've been playing with the same cricket bag for about 20 years. Same cricket shoes. I had to buy new cricket shoes last year. I was like, I should have sold that stuff when I quit 15 years ago and then just bought new shit now. But I'm like, no, I'll hold on to it. So if you're sitting, like, just get rid of the stuff. Sell it. If you're not using it, sell it. Give it to somebody. You don't need to hang on to everything, because the amount of stuff that I have gathered in the last year, 7 years, is just absurd. It is completely absurd. So I spent the last week packing it all up, getting it all organized. It's all distributed into different people's houses for the time being. And the plan is, I'm going to extend my garage and I'm going to build a home studio. That's the goal. A nice home studio that I can edit in. I can shoot YouTube videos in that no one's ever going to watch. I can shoot the podcast in, and I have an area for shooting product photography. In my house, in my fucking shorts, near my kitchen, near my family. The whole point of me working freelance was to have freedom of time. And one of the things I love is being able to spend time with my kids and my wife and see them. In times where, like, when I think back to when I was younger, that my dad didn't have the time to do. He worked 9 to 5. So you would have seen him on the evenings and you would have seen him on the weekends. But I like to be able to just go and watch one of my kids play hockey in the middle of the day. I like to walk down and meet them after school. I like to be able to take impromptu trips. And that is the whole reason I wanted to work for myself and why I like working for myself. Freedom of time. And that is the most valuable thing to me in everything. I want to be able to go for a fucking surf on a Monday morning because I want, and I might do that tomorrow because the surf looks pretty good. But when I'm here in the studio, I've set myself this place to go to and these boundaries. Now I'm like, oh, it's studio time. And then the studio time was like, oh, I'll just do it 9 to 5. And I'm like, well, I'm just fucking doing, because before that I was doing the studio all sorts of weird times. And then I was like, oh, I'll do it 9 to 5. And then I'm like, well, I've just given myself a regimented fucking time. And it's everything that I hate about the working environment. And then I was like, this is pointless. And the other problem that I was having was I found my creativity to make things as like fizzled. Podcast being one of them. In our old house, by the way, we've moved house, so I haven't explained it. In our old house when we bought, we lived in it for about 11 years. It was if you'd followed me or looked at any stuff back then, or maybe this podcast started then, I can't remember. There was an upstairs roof space, it was great, and it was my office. And I loved it because it was a creative space that I loved. It was comfortable, it was warm, I could go up there and work. I was near my family, but I was away from them, so I could do shit. And at night, if I had an idea, I could be like, I'm gonna fucking work on this idea. I don't have that at the moment. So in the house we're in, I'm basically using a dining room table, or I'd come down here. And this is not an inspiring space for me. It's cold, it's fucking lonely, it's quiet, it's surrounded by factories and workers and fucking bakeries and shit. And it's in an industrial estate. And while the space is functionally really good, creatively it's depressing as fuck. And it's boring. And I don't like being here. So I was like, finito, enough. So that's the plan. Goodbye to the studio. And then we're going to start a journey on building a fucking home office. And I just made the call. We're doing it. We're moving out. And then gave myself a month's notice. And it's been chaotic. It's been fucking chaotic. But this is the end of the Shoveit podcast here in this setup as we currently know it. And also maybe as it's currently been. It's going to be a few months before we get any studio thing up and running at home. So it's going to be fucking a bit all up in the air, all over the place. And I'm going to put a shutdown, close the door, pull the fucking blinds down, draw a line under this season 1 of Shoveit Podcast, which has been a fucking mix mash of bollocks. And I don't know how many episodes there are, but this is the end of this. Let's call this a season. And this is the end of the season. Okay? Is it a cliffhanger? Maybe not. Will you see me again? Will I ever post a video? Probably. I want to do a series in the house of the pod that's slightly different, and I want to reintroduce it as something new. Similar. It's not going to be about fucking baking or automotive repair. It's still going to be this. It's going to be slightly tweaked. So if you've enjoyed watching the pod over the years or listening to it, I appreciate it. If you're in this situation or you're starting out, just don't hoard shit. Get rid of it. That's my advice. Get rid of stuff. We all need less shit in our lives. Less tat, less things, less products. Let's just have less things, do more stuff, make more creative things, fun stuff. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Anyway, look, that's me. I'm at the mercy of recording directly into the phone today, the audio. So hopefully this audio has been elite. But I'm at the mercy of this phone battery, which is at 4.5%. So again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And cheers from this Shoveit podcast. Which, if you haven't seen from wide, this is what it looks like. See what I'm saying? It's just a corner of a really depressing room. It's movie magic, folks. It's movie magic. Anyway. Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.